wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move.
It's Saturday, March 21st. It's round 2 of the 2026 March Madness College Basketball Big Dance, C-Mac. We're here. We're ready. It's big. Welcome in, Connor Mac Daddy in the house. C-Mac, how you feeling here this Saturday morning? It's about 8 a.m.
Yeah. It is. Bright and early. So I gotta be up on a late night, too. Yeah. Going through these games.
Thought I was going to have to send you a wake-up call, but my man never sleeps. His buddy don't sleep. He's ready to go.
Fuck that. Every time he says that, I won't even say what I was going to say through the phone, what I would do to him. But, because that's a bunch of bullshit. Of course I'm up. But yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, already a little bit of madness, some good games, crazy halves. I think it's going to be a great day today and tomorrow. Both the
early takeaways here, round 1, real quick. What your thoughts about Wisconsin? Are you surprised that Wisconsin got dunked out there early, or does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I'm not too surprised. As talented as they are offensively, there's problems with them defensively, which we saw kind of throughout the year, especially a team laying points. So the biggest deal, and we'll get to High Point later, is, of course, they played nobody. Coach says that after the fact. Yeah, we played nobody. Everyone, I saw his old interview.
The old Syracuse player, by the way.
Nobody wants it. Yeah, nobody wanted, to play us. But they shot the ball. Well, they're going to have to do that again. But maybe they can hang with Arkansas. Another team in Arkansas just can outscore you, flat out. Still not the best defensive team either. We got a few of those here today. But, yeah, Wisconsin, they're out. I'm surprised there was another one yesterday. A lot of chalk. A lot of chalk yesterday.
Chalky, big chalk. I bet you lit the board up yesterday because it was so chalky here. Utah State.
I did.
Utah State, Villanova. A couple minutes left in that game. It looked like it was going to be Villanova, and then all of a sudden Utah State just throws them in the old rinse and repeat cycle there. Another Villanova out of here. UCF and UCLA. That was a little surprising down the stretch there to find UCF gets that late cover. Minute and a half left in any of these tournament games, C-Mac. It seems like anything can happen. And that's pretty much what we saw here. Tell me about Santa Clara and Kentucky. Just help me wrap my hands around what the fuck happened there. Plus 3.5, plus 4.5, under 150 whatevers. Overtime, and Kentucky throws them right down the fucking toilet. What happened?
Hey, it's March. It's craziness. It's madness. You know what I mean? Obviously, the coach, the timeout. I mean, how much beforehand do you let that know as he's running up the line? Do you get the baseline ref? It happened so quick. The three, they grab the ball. Everything's going so fast, of course. But yeah, it looked like he was looking for the timeout there. And then, of course, bang, Kentucky, who hadn't been covering, winning the whole game, basically gets it done in OT. You know how it goes, Mike. Dogs die in OT. And, and some of these other games like Nova, I mean, they scored 3 points in the last 6:03. It was 73-70. That's about as bad as basketball. A few of these teams in the last 5-6 minutes. I mean, we could even get to Kansas. See, I stayed off a bunch of these dogs like them. I took Cal Baptist live at a bunch of points because I didn't trust them. Really, either team. Daniels goes off there at the end, so I'm glad I got that live. But, Utah State, again, though, made the shots. They went to the free throw line, I think, 30 times, Mike. They made them, too. I mean, at least decent, right? I think they were like 25, 30, something like that. I mean, I watched the game. They went to the line a ton. And they got the job done. They got easy buckets early. So hats off to Utah State. We'll see what they can do tomorrow as they face big, bad Arizona. But what else are we doing in here. I think Mabano's going to be here in a little bit. We'll see. Send him the link.
Fun couple
What
of
else?
days. Babano's got the link. That's big deal for us here, fellas. Iowa State puts up triple digits. Purdue puts up triple digits.
Yeah.
Still 2 days, right? We saw some underdog action cashing here, but I can't say that I'm color me not surprised. C-Mac. We saw the NIL, or I'm sorry, not the the NIL. When I was going to say the NIT, no, the NIL as it relates to these squads. Now we're going to start to see that separation. I suspect it won't be upsets like FAU Owls running down the stretch. This going further, I think it'll be more about who covers and who doesn't cover. But any event, C-Mac, we've got a full weekend of action, and to complicate things, how about this? Color me complicated here because the UFC kicks off at 1 p.m. as well. So it's UFC and it's Michigan that open up college basketball action here. Many say potential front runner here, opened at 13. It's now 12.5. And surprisingly, betting action is pretty split. Now, yesterday, if you were in the market of trying to figure out how to read the cash flow splits in relation to the end results, go back and look. When all the money was on one side and the line moved against them, they lost. It was pretty straightforward. Today, however, this game kicking things off pretty split, minus 13. Now some 12.5s, but not really juiced. And then the total is a staggering 160.5. Kind of that total surprised me right off the gate. I'll tell you this because, A10 teams, St. Louis particularly, they strike me as a little bit of an under squad here. But listen, surprise, Michigan goes out there. Michigan does not play with their food. They bust up Howard. I mean, 30.5 points was.
They play with their food early.
Yeah.
46, Howard at a half. Fuck.
Florida gets the monster spread yesterday in the easy cover, but Michigan was right behind him here at 30.5. What do you think about this game here? St. Louis, the Sharps were tagging them in advance. They said, Georgia, them Bulldogs are bitches. They 102-77. St. Louis goes out there and smacks them in the mouth here.
Yeah.
Is that an anomaly for a St. Louis team that's part of the A-10? What do you think?
Yeah, one thing with Michigan, they struggled. They just weren't that team in November and December that were just crushing teams, easily covering. I know everything changes when it's January, February in conference play. So what happens here? One thing as you go through this game, both these teams are super efficient and great offensively. That's the one thing I think if you like St. Louis, you can kind of hang your head on that. They shoot the three, Mike. They can maybe keep them in this game. And, from early on, their strength of schedule, their defensive numbers are pretty good. But I thought they started to slip a little bit towards the end of the year. And this is a Michigan team, of course. One thing that also, St. Louis is deep. They don't have one guy. This is, 8-9 rotation here, Mikey. No one's over, 13 points, 14 points. I mean, when you go through, they average 10, 9, 9. Anybody and everyone can get it. One thing, this is one of the last teams left, though. As much as I can see transition and easy buckets, St. Louis, basically the last team here with turnovers. And I think that could be a problem here against a Michigan team that I still think they have a really, really good defense. So does the Cinderella stop here? I don't know. It's shots dropping. It was yesterday. That's why I went back. I ended up taking Akron first half because I knew they were a little bit undersized. Of course, we went over all this. The public liked them, but they shot the ball crazy, and they were horrible. I think they went 4 for 21 from 3, and Texas Tech went 9 for 20 or 11 for 20. Like sometimes, and the three ball is so big in not only the NBA, but college basketball these days, they just couldn't get it done. And, of course, the guy missed the free throw. There was a cold ending there. I could have probably still covered that. But that's kind of some of these teams just straight flat, and you dig yourself a hole. So, yeah, Michigan, the better team. Do you want to lay 12.5? Michigan's played more to the under. I talked about it in conference play, but to me, I don't think St. Louis can really stop them fully. It's just we got a high total here. I think you get over. I know it's early start, but I can't. It's just a lean for me, man. This game.
Well, I'll tell you
What's
this.
with you?
C-Mac, if you look at this thing and you say, if you gave me the number 1 seed and they haven't covered in 2 straight games, I would tell you that if you bet on those teams here, the books aren't entirely sure what number to sneak out there, and you are finding yourself a victor in those spots here. Victory does have it 27 and 6. Excuse me, 27. My system reset there. 27 and 6. Number 1 seeds, back-to-back non-covers here in March Madness. That is the case. Now, I just don't want to fade this Michigan squad. You know, looking at these boys here, number 1 seeds, opponent covers the spread. You're getting a little bit of a buy low at 59 and 27. So I'm gonna take my shot with Michigan. There's a couple things here. I mean, look at Michigan in the early rounds of the tournament over the last 7 years have covered. And covered. So I'm not going to mess with it. I think Michigan goes out there. I think they kind of, there's a couple teams, including Duke, that I think maybe learned their lesson a little early on here. So give me Michigan. Give me the opportunity to lay that 12.5 points, chop that wood, and let's move on and talk a little bit about Louisville and Michigan State. You strike me as a Michigan State guy. 3.5, 67% of the bet, 68% of the cash on Michigan State. The total went from 150.5 again to 151.5. 65% of the bets, 62% of the cash on the over in this spot here. And Michigan State comes in deservedly, I think, a favorite here with this Big Ten squad. They took down North Dakota State and over 92-67. They smacked them boys in the mouth here, but Louisville took down the darling, the play-in tournament darling with South Florida. 83-79, tight game. Depending on the number, you covered or you didn't, where you got in with that spot here. Does a play-in squad who finds victory against South Florida advance here, or does Michigan State smack these boys in the mouth? What do you think?
Well, shout out to the chat, everyone in here, especially all our people up in the green. Robert McCormick, great to see you. Mr. Vincent, great to see you up in the green. The members, Chucktown, Randall, as always, great to see you. My dude, Sean, my man, I had a couple sweats. I had an under and at St. John's. Holy shit, Mike. I can't believe that stayed under. You know what? As much as you say I strike me as a Michigan State guy, maybe I am. You strike me as a Louisville fan, all right? And you do. So I'm sure you're going to be on them here today. And I think, now they're a dog here in this situation. I think people can look at them and want to take these points. But still, I don't trust this team, really. If you think of Louisville, we could get through and get Brown back if we could get by here, right, Mike? One thing is laying the points with Michigan State, and they're off a really great beatdown. They were one of the teams that took care of business here on Thursday. They were able to get anything. When I looked at this game, we talked about Michigan State and their unders. They had been going, that was early on in the year. They've been scoring the ball here. And that's what I think they do in this game against Louisville. Right? Last 10, 8-2 to the over. I think they could get their team total in this game, which is what? 78.5. It's a little bit high. And I think you could take it. This is starting to move here, which I thought it might with the money. I wanted to see where it went, but I think Michigan State does handle business. I don't know if you want to start laying 5.5, 6 points with them. We talked about fears. I was going through some props in this game. Cohen, I think Kohler, that guy, went over 1.5 threes. There's a few with this Michigan State team, I think, because I just don't think Louisville can stop anyone. We talk about their struggles on the road or on a neutral floor that was up and down. So what do they got here? They could definitely hang around, but I think it's Michigan State. I do think they go on. So there you go.
I am going to
tell me you're on Louisville.
No, I'm going to knock in the under on this one here.
Yeah.
We talk a little bit about it and the pace and the style here. And, specifically in March Madness, we do get some some, past the first round, we get some nice little trends out there. And look, if the team puts up 90 or more points the previous game, the spread is less than a -7. And the total is less than a 175.5. We find the under has reigned supreme, 26-7 over a 19-year sample size. So history does repeat itself. I think that's the case here. Big Ten unders, by the way. When you've got a Big Ten team, and this is where I kind of like the unders as it relates to a defensive I don't want to say defensive oriented, but nonetheless, the Big Ten unders more than a 127 or 44-18 to the under as well. I like the under. You're getting a beefy 151 and a half out there. I'll take the under. I think that's just too many points. So lock me in. Give me the under. See, man. You like the under?
I don't know what happens here. The total I was kind of off. I don't know. We could get a little bit of points. I did think it was a tad bit high, maybe by 3 points. Yeah, a little bit. Michigan State, this team can score. And as good as this team can defend, they're athletic. I don't think they're great in Louisville. We've been talking about. And by the way, in that game, they got destroyed inside against South Florida because South Florida was so bad shooting it, especially early. I mean, they still went 5 for 33 from 3, 14 for 16. They got to the line a little bit, only shot 39%, and they still, they were able to get their easy buckets, and especially when they were down by 20. But Louisville, one of these other teams we talk about too, live and die by the 3. And what they just come off a 13-25 shooting night. That makes me want to fade them. But here's the thing, if they're hot, Mike, there could be points, and Louisville's in it. But you got to trust them, to really score and hit these threes. I mean, it's a live and die by the 3. Live and let live. Everyone, analogy you want to put to this one. But I think Michigan State. I think they're the better team.
Well, we've got a special guest backstage ready to join us to break down this March Madness betting action. And here we go, man. It's round 2. I'm excited. This might be the first time. No, it's not the first time I've gotten to bring this guy on stage here. We go back to some Thursday night football live streams, but let's welcome in Mr. Babano. Ian, how are you, friend? Good to see you.
What's up, Mike? It's good to see you. It's been too long. Great to see you. Like I said, it's just been way too long, since we've been on the same show. I figured the other half of the Hitting the Books co-pilot had to show up for a change here on a Saturday morning. So it's good to be here. Of course, you can always see C-Mac and I on Hitting the Books throughout the week. But it's NCAA tournament time, and it's obviously round of 32. So I said it's time for me to make an appearance here with Mike M. and C-Mac on a Saturday morning. So it's a great card today, guys. I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome in, my friend. We're 2 games deep here. Michigan, St. Louis, Louisville, Michigan State. Any thoughts real quick as we roll on and try to cover this card?
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams put up a huge number in their first round win, St. Louis and Michigan. And sometimes when you see that, you want to look under, but I can't do it with these 2 teams. I just think they play fast. I don't really trust defensively what I'm seeing from either of these, especially, you see the Billikens, and I know they ran away from Georgia, but Georgia's obviously had their flaws. I think this game goes over. Now, my one concern, and it's why, I didn't go bigger on this, is that it's an early start game, and sometimes you see those games kind of drag, and sometimes you won't see the shooting be where you want it to be, but you're certainly going to get pace, and you certainly have 2 teams that can absolutely light it up. So at 160.5, the number I got, I took over in that game. I would lean to the Billikens a little bit. Look, Michigan's 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games. They have been burning money for their backers. They have not been good in this favorites role. But I do worry about that St. Louis defense against this Michigan team, that they're going to give up a lot of points. So a small bet on St. Louis at the 12.5, but I like the over more in that game. And I'm with you. I think I heard you guys making a case for Michigan State in the second game against Louisville. I do like the Spartans. I laid the 4.5 there with Michigan State. You look at this Louisville team. That, by the way, was Pat Kelsey's first straight up an ATS victory in the NCAA tournament in his career against South Florida the other day. But you look at that game, and South Florida shot horrendously. Not to mention Louisville had 20 turnovers in that game.
Yep.
You will not get away with turning the ball over and treating it like a hand grenade to that degree if you do it again here this afternoon against Michigan State. And Tom Izzo's the master of short turnaround prep situations in the NCAA tournament. He has made a career out of being very good going from a Thursday to Saturday or a Friday to Sunday NCAA tournament game. He's been very good in these type of roles. He probably has the edge over Pat Kelsey and Pat Kelsey's never gotten to the second round of the NCAA tournament in his career. So how does he know what it's like to get your team ready to go from a Thursday to a Saturday? This will be the first time he's doing it. So yeah, I think it's an advantage I think they could crush Louisville on the glass too. They have such a strong rebounding advantage in this game in my mind too over Louisville. So I think Michigan State laying the small number is the way to go.
Little Michigan State action there. I think it is this kind of was that season. It feels like Michigan State can maybe I think they go a little bit deeper than maybe history shows us here. But how about this Duke TCU? Is this one of the surprises? Everyone was talking about the darling Siena out of New York State, man, a mid-major, showing them boys what's up. They were draining threes from the parking lot to start that game off there, but it kind of slowed down a little bit. Duke was able to find the cover, 28.5 points, the first time in March Madness that a team with 28.5 points as a favorite is down double digits plus going into the second half. And does Duke find a way? Did they learn their lesson, I guess is the question, gentlemen, here. Sometimes we see these teams that kind of got a little slap in the mouth early, find a way to fire back, and they don't look back after that. Was that the reality? Was that the wake-up call that Duke needed here as they get it going, Babana? What do you think?
It could be, and that's always the thought I had in the back of my mind, that Duke, everyone saw them struggle against Siena, being down at halftime, just barely finding a way to win that game. It was just a grind throughout. They never even came close. And I know C-Mac, my partner in crime here, liked Siena in that game. So did I a couple days ago against Duke. But I don't know, because all I see, and remember, this is still a banged-up Duke team. They've had some injuries. The rotation's been out of whack. John Shire's been looking to find the right combination that works. I think that's playing a role in why Duke hasn't been themselves here down the stretch. And every time I watch this TCU Horned Frogs team play this season under Jamie Dixon, who's no stranger to the NCAA tournament, all I see is this team giving every single elite team that they've played a battle this season. Every single one of them. You look at the Florida game. You look at the Wisconsin game. You look at the Michigan game early in the season. They only lost by 4. They got a win against Iowa State on their resume. They should have beat Kansas at Fog Allen. They were leading most of that game. They ended up losing in overtime by 4. All TCU has done is show up and give every single heavyweight that they have faced in college basketball a very tough game. And I kind of think this is a few too many. Could Duke turn it up? And Duke's going to shoot better. It was not a great offensive game, really, from anybody involving Duke for the most part. It was a struggle for them at the offensive end. You would think they're going to shoot better. But again, there's something about this TCU team. They got a physicality to them. David Punch is an outstanding scorer for the Horned Frogs. They're going to have to pay some mind to him. Yes, this could be there's a lot of people I've talked to that like Duke, that are laying the points. People I respect as far as fellow bettors. And I get it. Buy low. This team's going to play a lot better after the struggle against Siena, and they could put it together and win going away. But I think TCU's got a toughness to them. They've stepped up in class very well against the best teams they've played all season. I'm taking the 12.5 here with TCU. They cashed for me against Ohio State, and I'll take them again today.
C-Mac, we saw this TCU Ohio State side of things here, and 2.5 points for the Texas Christian side. Finds a way to sneak it out, get the win, advance, and move forward here. Do you buy into what TCU's serving here, or are you going to go with this Duke side of things?
I'm going to go with the under. Give me the under. Give me the under in this game. I just think Duke, those two guys out, we talked about it. I talked to on a few shows we did, with Foster and Agagba, it's too much on a little bit the defense. They got to play more team defense. So maybe that brings more scoring. We saw it against Florida State, that one game that kind of went right back to a slower team in Clemson. TCU can score, I mean, they're not, the craziest, slowest team. But I think at 141, I had to be on this under. And yeah, it's talented. I think Duke is a little bit sharper here. Man, I don't want to lay 12.5 of them. I had TCU, the 2.5 is a big win. I kind of lean their way. I might look to them live in this game. What are you on, Mike? You on Duke? Tell me you're laying it with Duke.
No. I like Duke in the first half of this game. I haven't officially gotten to the window in it yet, though, because I do buy in, boys. I do think that a team like Duke there, with all the expectation, kind of got scared early by Siena, and they're challenging themselves. I think in the locker room, listen. We're number 1 seed. They had their scare against Michigan. We've got to go out there and start this game early and show them who we are. And I think that's where we. Now, does it mean the back door opens up down the stretch there? I do think it's probably a bit on the too many point side of things here, but I think that they come out there early. But I like the under. I'm with you. Duke has been an under school for me. I've been cashing. Speaking of under schools, boys, I'm a little mad at myself. I got to say, full disclosure here. And not only did I not play it, I went the other direction. Texas A&M and Houston here. Houston, I saw this game the other day. I said, you know what? I'm a Houston under backer. I'm going to take in this over. I think we're going to see some points. And then what we ended up seeing was the Idaho Vandals couldn't even get to 50. 78-47. I'll tell you.
That was beautiful.
I
loved
Houston,
it.
I've got Houston winning some brackets, boys. I thought the narrative for me was Houston versus Arizona faces off each other. They take down Florida to move on. And now Florida obviously handles their business yesterday, but 55, 65 live line numbers for that Florida Gator squad here. But as it relates to Houston and Texas A&M, the line opened at 9.5. We're seeing some 10.5s here. We've got 57% of the bets, 68% of the cash here. Texas A&M, the Aggies come into this thing here. Look, nice little season out of these boys. They've dealt with some adversity. They've found a way to fire, and they took down a St. Mary's team that was a maybe comparably, not comparably, but a defensive squad, right? We've seen that West Coast there. We've seen St. Mary's. We've seen Santa Clara. We've seen Gonzaga. They like to run some defensive-oriented programs here. Does Texas A&M have the ability to match the defensive battle that Houston brings to the table? See, Matt, kick us off. What do you think about this game?
I don't know. This one, too, I could see there being points in this game. This total has moved up a little bit. What do we get? A&M, of course, they play really good. I think St. Mary's was just awful, in that game. One thing, though, when I looked at A&M all year long on a neutral on the road, they got beat up by the better teams, consistently. Whether it was like at Vandy, they lost by 13. Florida, I think they lost by 19. Arkansas, 15. Like any kind of game where they stepped up a little bit, they lost. So I got my money in with Texas A&M. We talked about a good old Bucky. I think he could keep this close. And I think they want to run their style because everything else with Houston, I want Houston. You talked about, I know I was on the under. I love the 47 points, but they should be able to score on this Texas A&M defense. It's not going to be 50 points like St. Mary's just got. So, but where's the line here? Is a bunch more points in this game here, guys? 143.5 now. What do you think, Lubena?
I think it's a sneaky over, honestly. Texas A&M in Houston. This was 141.5. It's up to 140. I got 141.5 overnight. I see 142.5 right now. I'm even seeing a couple 143s. So there's clearly some support for the over.
Yeah.
Here's the key with Houston. I don't think that's a great offensive team this year, but I kind of agree that this is going to be a team that can score on A&M. A&M doesn't have a great defense. Yeah. The one thing too is, Texas A&M thrives sometimes off turnovers, but they want to force turnovers. They haven't always been great at doing so. So I think if Houston takes care of the ball, I think they will. They're going to be able to make their share of buckets here in this game against Texas A&M. I saw a lot of that St. Mary's effort. St. Mary's just was dreadful. They had some open looks, and they just couldn't hit anything really in that game. So, you give A&M's defense credit, but I think it's going to be a little bit tougher sledding. The key to me in thinking this game could go over, it's first of all, it's a lower number. It's definitely a lower total for a Texas A&M game. most of their totals because of the pace and buckyball. It's chuck threes and play fast. That's the style. Their totals are usually in the 150s or even 160s. You're getting this in the low 140s because Houston's involved. But I went back and looked, and I wanted to make sure I did this. I wanted to see how Houston fared with their totals against teams that play fast, because that's important. You want to see how Houston did totals-wise against teams that play with pace. Well, they played Auburn November 16th. Auburn plays with pace. That game went over and had 145 points. Florida State, they play with pace. Houston played them December 6th, 149. It went over the total with 149 points. Arkansas, we know they're one of the fastest paced teams in the country. That total was 146.5. That game had 179 points, 94-85. So there's a body of work here that when Houston plays an up-tempo, fast-paced team, they're willing to run with them. They're willing to kind of buy into that style. Their own offense works better, it feels like, against these teams that play fast, because every time they've played in Arkansas, Florida State, Auburn, all these examples I'm giving you, they've scored points, Houston, in these games. So I think we can get this up and over the numbers based on where it is at 142.5.
Man, it's a real treat for me to sit here with you gentlemen. I listen to you guys breaking down the card on hitting the books on a regular basis. And here I am talking with you boys about some March Madness. You guys, as a reminder, we're live on 2 channels here. We're live on Sports Money Network. We're also live on Hitting the Books. You see it scrolling across the bottom. Make sure you take a second, smash the thumbs up button for both channels. And show some support for the squad, man. It is March Madness. We are here. I am going to lay the lumber with Houston. Boy, it's difficult. I hear you talking about that total, and I don't know if I can. I'm going to stick away from Houston totals because I do scare myself with Texas A&M pace there. But, hey, 142.5s are out there. It's some even money with Kalshi. If you guys are in the predictive markets game out there, you can get involved with Kalshi. 7 p.m. Eastern is Dayton, another A-10 squad coming out here against UNC Wilmington. Is this am I looking at this right?
You want to talk NIT?
That's an NIT tournament game.
No, I don't.
Sure.
But I'll take
I'm on Dayton and I'm on Liberty in the 2 NIT tournament games today, for if anyone's interested.
Yeah, I think Liberty maybe.
Yeah. I'm looking. I'm calling them out, and I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right.
I mean, how the hell do you bet against Dayton in that tournament? They look like they mean business in this. They want to win this. They destroyed Bradley, and Bradley's a good home team. That was not even close. Very impressive by Dayton. No hangover after losing in the A-10 tournament. Heartbreak City missing the NCAA tournament, and it didn't show up against Bradley. They destroyed them. Very impressive. Well done, Anthony Grant, getting his team back up off the mat.
You boys are true professionals, being able to pivot to the NIT like that on the fly. I like the under in that game, but we're going to.
Well, I do too, but it's NIT. Sometimes sometimes the intensity. But Wilmington, they want to slow it down. I mean, I just don't know if we have a bargain even at 140. Because I went right to the under when I was looking at that last night. Under.
I saw Wilmington and I was like, okay. And then I see an A-10 Dayton Flyers. I'm like, all right here. But all right, boys, back to the big dance. Texas and Gonzaga. My fault. My apologies here. -7.5. Gonzaga comes in there much as I suspected, right? Gonzaga's been one of those teams that used to run, they were kind of the pride of the offense when it came to that, Pacific Coast side of things there. And this year, of all things, top 25 school in defense, steals, turnovers. They have flipped the switch as it relates to fighting against teams like Santa Clara and St. Mary's. Those teams kind of seem to be predicated on defense, and Gonzaga's kind of followed suit. Now, this line's come down from 7.5 to 5.5. Texas, of course, a couple years removed from the Chris Beard era. Have they established their culture? Have they been able to bring in their recruits? We've seen a play in school. They went out there. They stomped on NC State. They took care of BYU. A lot of people were very high on that BYU team. They are a dog. It has moved 2 points against them. But Bono, kick us off. Talk to us. Do the Texas Longhorns. Are we horns up? Are we hooking them? Or are we going into the Zags?
I'm hooking them. I'm going to take Texas here, +6.5. I am concerned because Gonzaga is going to probably shoot a lot better. They were not good offensively against Kennesaw. And they have played good defense, so I worry a little bit about I think this could be under, believe it or not. And Gonzaga's been on a crazy streak of unders lately. So it's hard to go against that, how strong Gonzaga has been to the under. And I think, too, shooting legs for Texas might be a concern. This is going to be their third game in 5 days. They played in the first 4. They played Thursday in the first round, beating BYU. Now they got to play a third. I just don't know how good Gonzaga is right now. And they miss Braden Huff big time. Big time. I mean, you can see that.
No, that's the key, I think.
Yeah, that's a real major
Even though they're important
injury right now that Mark Few is dealing with, and they haven't adequately filled that role. I like it. Plus, EK is always someone you got to be worried about. But this guy he had a monster game against BYU. Sean Miller said it was his best game he's played all season, and I agree. And that Vokatitis, man, he was absolutely spectacular for Texas against BYU the other night. Now, I'm not saying he's the equal of Graham Ike, but I think he can give him a little battle, at least, in the paint around the rim in this game for Texas, the way he played against BYU. And the West Coast Conference, they haven't covered a point spread yet in this tournament. 0-3 against the spread. St. Mary's lost outright, didn't cover. We saw Santa Clara, although it was a heartbreaker, but they lost straight up and against the spread. And then, of course, Gonzaga. They're the only team to survive straight up, but they didn't cover, didn't even sniff a point spread cover against Kennesaw State. So maybe this West Coast Conference a little overvalued right now. I'm worried about 3 and 5. I'm worried about. I just don't know how good Gonzaga is. The more I watch, I think they're not what we've seen from Mark Few's teams in the past. So it's a smaller bet for me, but I am on the points here with Texas.
Mick and Mac Daddy, what are you doing here with this Texas and Gonzaga spot?
Yeah, Gonzaga. I mean, I think the more it goes on, they miss Huff. It's just been a ton of points, and it's more of a load on Ike, and they do have to play a little bit slower in defense. That's why we've seen the unders. Yeah, I kind of lean under here in this game. I mean, it's in Portland, a little bit of boost for Gonzaga, and they might shoot it better, but no way. Even with Texas, I think they keep this game close. I was just thinking it when I roll through it. I like this here. They're 6.5. I might go first half with Texas. I haven't decided yet, and I might wait full game just because I think they could play with Gonzaga. I have not been impressed by them. This is probably a game they could win, but I think it's a nail lighter for them. So hook them. I'm on Texas one more time. Get to Sweet 16, or at least cover. Just cover for me. That's all that matters.
I start thinking one more time. How about this Gonzaga? 16-0 to the under, boys. It's real simple. Less than 4 days rest, so a relatively quicker turnaround spot out there, and a total under 151.5. And they keep it low. When the books think it's going to be low, it does end up with the go. So for what it's worth, I like Texas, though. I think this is if there's an upset this weekend here brewing, I like Texas as one of those teams that I've got kind of earmarked, if you will, or highlighted for surprising me. I wasn't high on them coming in here, but they've earned my respect at 5.5 points. VCU.
The way you said that, they keep it low. It reminds me of an old school Christina Milian song. Keep it low, pick it up slow. Remember that's going way back.
All day, man. The Rams
back.
We see another squad here. Yet a team in VCU, another A10 juggernaut, if you will. Here, the A10 was a little bit upside down this year for me. I'm a St. Bonaventure guy, and they have not been able to do it for me. But listen, they come through this thing. They take down their tournament. They beat Duquesne. They beat St. Joe's. They take down Dayton, and not just take down Dayton, but that was quick turnaround spot there. Boy, oh boy, a lot of people were looking at that UNC side of things. I was a VCU Ram in that game. The 2.5s, the plus 2.5s, first and second round were absolutely money. But now they take down an Illinois team here where I was dead pegged under. And they're playing an Ivy League school. Some guy said, Penn shocked them. They shouldn't have necessarily been there. Well, listen, 25.5 point favorite is beefy. And they busted them up. It was a 35-point victory against this Penn team. Struggled down the stretch in the Big Ten there against Illinois. But is this against Wisconsin. But the question is, Illinois, are they ratcheted up, C-Mac, and ready for the big dance here? Are they the guys to advance here and show everybody what the Big Ten can do?
I think they could in this game. VCU, can play with them. But they've been a struggle from half to half, and it even showed with North Carolina, of course, the massive comeback. And I saw that earlier in the year when we broke down these games in their non-conference with them, and some of that where they played Virginia Tech, Utah State, and a few others. When I went through those, each half was a little bit different and erratic. I think what we get here, though, guys, is enough pace, and we get over with these two teams, right? I mean, I think it's low enough at 150. I talked about Illinois. Yeah, shot 105 points. It was an easy over. Yesterday was a bunch of easy overs. Only one over that I had that didn't lose was the Tennessee game. Talk about a dead stop. 85 points to dead stop. But the rest cruised to the over.
Friggin' Rick Barnes, he put that damn thing on cruise. I mean, they just milked the clock.
Well, yeah, Miami, Ohio couldn't make a shot either. A little bit of both. Yeah. Little bit of both there. Where it was, fuck Rick Barnes. Fade his ass.
Go Virginia
fade
tomorrow. But that's another
fade that motherfucker. All right. But yeah, over. I think I'm just going to wait live. And what Illinois, the erraticness of them, is this team going to keep, just winning big? They have the talent. They have the scores. And I think they just score, in this game. You can even look at their team total. But I don't know about – I could see them win by 20, and I could see this a 3-point game. So over, and I lean VCU. I might have a bet pregame too on them or just wait live. I haven't decided yet on the side.
But Bono, the total opened up at 153.5. It has come down. We see 152.5. Depending on the market, there's 151.5 out there. This is a beefy number at 10.5. Do you concur with points, Babano? How are you getting paid in this game?
Yeah, well, Connor Mack was probably sick of hearing it by now, but I was talking it up all week on Hitting the Books that one of my favorite total, one of my favorite plays in the first round was Penn, Illinois over. And we absolutely just flew way over that with 175 in that game when you looked at it. I think when you look at this game with VCU and Illinois, I'm in agreement with Connor Mack. I think the over's in play again. This got to as low as 149.5, and that's when I stepped in and grabbed it. So now, it was 153.5, went down to 149.5, and now it's bumped back up a little bit to 150.5, 151. I do like this over here in this game. Illinois is a very good offensive team. We saw it against Penn. The one thing about VCU is I think they obviously are going to press all over the court. That could sometimes be trouble against a team that can really punish you. If they can handle the ball, they can beat that press. Illinois could be able to get some easy baskets. But this VCU team should be able to score too. I still don't think Illinois is phenomenal at the defensive end of the court. And I think, you look at the fact, okay, they played well against Penn defensively, but Penn was ailing in that game. Ethan Roberts didn't play, was one of their top scorers. And TJ Power wasn't right. He was not right. He was dealing with an illness going into that game. He did play, but he was not himself. He wasn't 100%. You could tell he was not. He was ailing too. And I think Illinois kind of benefited from that. So I think this is an over game. I'm on VCU again, plus the points. I think I like the over a little bit more. They're a relentless team. Phil Martelli Jr. was spot on in his post-game interview after the comeback against North Carolina. That's why I think if you like VCU, take the full game instead of the first half. You don't want to be on that side where VCU starts slow again, doesn't cover the first half, but then covers the full game because they don't give up. They do not quit. There's a relentless mindset to this basketball team, and that's what's appealing, Mike and C-Mac, about taking points with them. They just play for 40 minutes. They don't give in, and if they don't give in today as well, I think they can stay in this.
Yeah, it's funny you guys talk about that. So I was on the under in that Penn game there. I didn't suspect Penn would put a battle up, but 23-0 to the over. Illinois, they dictate, and listen, the reason I reference that is they're 10.5-point favorites. It does kind of dictate that their style should drive this game in the outcome here, and it's 23-0 to the over. Make them less than a 16.5-point favorite. Bring the total under 164.5, and bring their turnovers in the previous game under 10. So not a ton of fast break points that led to the total. It almost kind of feels like you get to buy low a little bit when it comes to Illinois on this over. And so I'm with you boys. I think the over is a good look on this spot. I think it's good money. We've got Vanderbilt and Nebraska. Listen, SEC, how about that? Vanderbilt comes through here. And then we find a Nebraska team, 2.5. This is the pesky number that we've seen in this tournament. The plus 2.5s have almost been automatic cash as it relates to these numbers here. But Vanderbilt comes into this one. Listen, big wins for these boys here. They handle Florida, first of all. But some would say that Florida was kind of not really too focused on the SEC. They were really, their time is here in the big dance after winning last year. They come out there and they lose to Arkansas. They come out and take an easy McNeese State, but they do not cover. So they are off back-to-back non-covers. And Nebraska comes in here. I don't know what happened in this Troy game. There's no words. Nebraska just does what they do, I guess, is what it comes down to. I think this is a Babano kickoff for us, if I'm not mistaken. Am I off here? Babano, talk to us about this game.
Yeah, this one is fascinating here. I think Vanderbilt's the better team. I think there's a cheap price. I like their guards. Miles, led by Miles, he's been great. I think they had what I loved is that, look, it was looking bad for them early against McNeese State, and yet they erased the deficit, and they took control of that game in the second half. They've got an excellent coach in Byington. And to me, Nebraska faced a flawed Troy team, very, very stagnant, very, very shaky offensively. They were able to feast on that. My one concern here, though, is I am on Vanderbilt money line, but my God, that was a home game for Nebraska the other day against Troy in that building in Oklahoma City, the Paycom Center. I mean, the Husker Nation, they took over that building. So I am a little bit worried that it's almost like a home game for Nebraska here against Vanderbilt. But I like Vandy's guards. I like Vandy's defensive and rebounding ability. I think they're going to pose some more offensive challenges for a pretty good Nebraska defense, but one that I think is going to have a harder time here today against Vanderbilt. So the price was cheap enough. Do I want to lay more than 2-3 points with Vanderbilt? No, but the money line's cheap enough, minus 120 or so. I took the comment. I just think they're a better basketball team, and I think they can advance.
There we go. Make it a Mac Daddy. What are you doing?
Yeah, the under here. One thing, both these teams rely on the three, though. And this is a red-hot three shooting from these teams. It could get over, but I think we have enough room here. I went right to it in this game. Talking about that's how Nebraska needs to win or be in this game. And the defense showed up the other day, and Troy was awful. Of course, couldn't do anything.
And that game
especially after the first 5 minutes.
Over. Yeah, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so one thing with Vandy here, I think they're the better team too. Like, this just seems, though, kind of a dogfight type game. I think Miles, super good, like you talked about. Tanner, this team is loaded. And Sanford, he needs to be the guy for Nebraska. He has been. He needs to put up, I'd say, 20 points. So this is also one I've looking through a few of these games where we already talked about it earlier, Michigan State game, where there's a few props that I'm kind of looking at. I have a few bucks on, but under here, and I lean Vandy too. In the end, I think they could sneak by, but I think this could be tight. Go ahead, Mike. What do you got?
I love the under, boys. Yesterday, 83% of the bets, 87% of the cash, rather, on the over in this game. We've seen it come down. We're seeing some 146.5s out there. And this is one of those spots here. We've seen the cash kind of, I don't want to say dictates the outcome, but yesterday, this was just kind of a fail-safe way to go about it. And I'm not going to disagree here. Nebraska 9-0 to the under after a spread cover. How simple could that be? They love running the unders, and it's not just that they go under, but they go under by 13 points a game. So is this a little lofty? Do we see this thing barely clip out of the 130s? The numbers would say so. They would dictate that, but I like the under here, and I think this is a good looking spot here. I think that. Listen, Vanderbilt's been a great story. The lines moved from minus 1.5 to 2.5. 62% of the bets, 54% of the cash on the Vanderbilt side of things here. But when in doubt, take the under. High Point in Arkansas, gentlemen. They're going to finish us off here for the Saturday betting action. First and foremost, I'll say it again. You got to be transparent in this business, boys. And I couldn't have been any more wrong about my thought process on Wisconsin. Shout out to High Point, the purple boys, the purple people eaters here. 13 have moved down to 11.5s and now 10.5s. 60% of the bet, 77% of the cash. We pick Suey. They like Arkansas. We're looking at this total. It's not much movement here, about 50% of the bets, but 70% of the cash on the over. They think we're going to see points in High Point, C-Mac. Holy cow, I can't believe Wisconsin did me dirty like that. What do you think here? Does High Point do the Panthers strut, or do the Razorbacks find a way to slap in the mouth?
Man, Arkansas could run away with it. I just don't know with High Point. We were in the back that they played nobody. We were talking about it earlier, the coach, and we talked about that they only played UAB and lost by 16. They at least shot the three well against Wisconsin. We talked about their defensive struggles. Arkansas, one thing with them, they're a team that doesn't rely on the three and didn't shoot a lot against Hawaii. They were just able to get easy buckets, just 4 for 21 from three. But this team can get anything that they want, especially the starting five with Arkansas. So I think if you like Arkansas, it's just the team total here. Is I even laying the points with them, we're up to what, 12.5, and the team total is 87.5, right, guys? I think.
Yep.
I mean, I think Arkansas still kind of gets right around there. I think it'll be a struggle for High Point. They better light it up again. High Point from deep to be in it, I think.
But Bob, what say you about this High Point Arkansas battle?
High total, but high for a reason, and I still think we get to the 170s here. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with High Point that's going to hurt them in this game is that they play fast, and Arkansas bring that on. And Arkansas just got better athletes, better players. They could really light up this High Point team. They've got nobody that can handle Acuff Jr. in my mind. I think he's probably physical mismatch for this High Point team. This is one favorite I'm kind of interested in laying it here with Big Suey here. Arkansas, because I think this is where it could end here for High Point today. Arkansas looked awesome in that first game. Hawaii's no joke. Hawaii's a solid team, and Arkansas just completely crushed them start to finish. That's a very impressive win. I probably prefer the team total over 89.5 here with Arkansas rather than laying the 11.5, 12. Yeah. I think they could get into the 90s here. I like this over 169.5. Like I said, I do think it gets into the 170s. That's the thing. High Point's going to play the style Arkansas wants, and they're just that's trouble to me for High Point here. In this game. So I lean to Arkansas, but I prefer team total. But my favorite look here is just over 169.5. I think it's going to be something along the lines of 94 to 80, something like that, maybe in favor of Arkansas. I think High Point's going to score, but they're not going to stop Arkansas defensively. I think High Point's defense is really going to get caved in here today. So I think there's a lot of points.
Yeah.
I think
you guys both kind of talked a little bit about it there. I like the team total over for Arkansas. I think they're in position to go out. 12 seems a little lofty, but I think they've earned it. Arkansas has gone out there. I mean, the nation's talking
like 94-78. That's exactly the kind of score that I have in my mind here for this game. Yeah, for Arkansas.
I might throw a couple dollars.
Man, it's just high.
Just to make sure I don't miss it if it comes back and we all say, hey, we told you so. But that's the Saturday card, gentlemen. That is the round 2, day 1 of March Madness. And it was a well done job, boys, here. We covered the board. We even talked some NIT. Do you guys have some thoughts on Sunday?
Oh, yeah, Sunday's games. That's a good thing because I actually got to head out in a couple of minutes. We got the Ice Guys show coming up in just a couple of minutes. So just quickly on Sunday, just because we want to give you something. I know we're not doing any shows, CMAC and I, on the Sunday for tomorrow, so we'll give you some Sunday opinions now. I'm just looking. I'll just throw out a couple. I am probably going to be on Miami against Purdue as an underdog. I know Purdue just blew the doors off Queens. Very, very impressive offensive showing. There's a real toughness to Miami, a grittiness to Miami. Jai Lucas has done one of the better coaching jobs, so I'm pretty sure I'll be on Miami plus the points. I think Kentucky's run might come to an end. I'm interested in Iowa State there, laying the 4.5 against Kentucky. They were very fortuitous to get past Santa Clara in that one. So I think that could be a spot to lay it there with Iowa State in that game. Utah State, Arizona, I think that could be an over. I know Arizona's a great defensive team, but Utah State, I was very impressed with the way they were able to operate so efficiently on offense against Villanova in their first round game. At the same point in time, I don't think Utah State's going to stop Arizona at the defensive end of the court. So for an over on the Sunday board, I think I might get there with Utah State and Arizona. Rick Barnes, we always say fade him as well in March. And yes, he looked very impressive. His team looked very impressive against Miami, Ohio. But Miami, Ohio that's the game where Miami, Ohio finally paid the price for facing such a weak non-conference schedule. They finally had to step up against Tennessee, and they got wiped out. And Tennessee shot lights out. When do you ever see the Volunteers shoot the basketball like that against Miami, Ohio? I think it's going to be a tougher task against a good Virginia's top 60, I believe, in defense in the country. And I know they didn't look great against Wright State. They kind of struggled. They escaped, didn't play their best. But I think Ryan Odom's team is going to play better here. I think at a near pick 'em, I like Virginia in that game. Back to fade Rick Barnes in March for me.
There he goes, giving you guys some early looks on Sunday. C-Mac, we're going to talk about it here. But Bono, before we head you out of here, my friend,
yes.
I can't let you go without talking about the hottest team in hockey, the Buffalo Sabres taking on the LA Kings at 4 p.m. Are they going to go out there and cover? Is it a minus 120? Deservedly so? Is the Kempe injury or illness factor going to affect this Los Angeles Kings team? What say you about this Buffalo Sabres?
It's Buffalo or nothing. I'm probably going to be on the Sabres. LA, I don't trust. And another thing, too, the Kempe banged up. But there's another angle that you can't forget about this hockey game. Buffalo is trying to get Alex Lyon the consecutive game road win streak record today. And I'm assuming they're going to start Alex Lyon again. And he could get the record with a win. So you think that team's going to play all out for that to get Alex Lyon that record? Absolutely they will. And he was dynamite against San Jose. He started against the Sharks. He played great. The Sabres did. They shut out the Sharks in that game. 5-0, I think it was. Yeah, just a very, very impressive win for Buffalo. So that's another element. Not only are they red hot, they just cannot lose, it seems, right now, the Sabres, playing great hockey. But they are all in to get Alex Lyon this record of consecutive games started on the road, consecutive game road win streak for Alex Lyon, their goaltender. So, like I said, this is absolutely, for me, you either bet Buffalo or you pass the game, at least for me.
But Bono, tell them what's up. Tell them where they can find you. We'll let you go and get you off to the Ice Guys.
Yeah, just C-Mac and I, Monday to Friday. Monday, Tuesday, we do shows that are available to everybody. We do members channel shows for members only of our Hitting the Books channel on Wednesdays and Fridays. So make sure you check that out.
Shout out to the members.
And we're going to shout out to the members 100%. And it's pivoting to baseball because baseball starts this week. So, college basketball winding down, but we're going to keep the shows going for the baseball season, March, April, May, and beyond. So Hitting the Books with C-Mac and I, make sure you check it out. And of course, the Ice Guys, 7 days a week, NHL hockey betting show. So good stuff. Mike M., good to see you. It's been too long. C-Mac, good luck. We'll see you again on Monday for Hitting the Books. And you guys have a great day and cash some tickets.
Appreciate you, Bono. Great job, my friend. Thank you for being here. C-Mac, we'll talk some baseball when it comes time, but I don't know if you knew this or not, C-Mac, but you're actually sharing the screen with the best baseball handicapper in the world. Did you know that?
Wow, what an honor.
154.5 units last year, flat betting, 1 unit a pop. And thank you to the unders. But C-Mac, I wanted to make sure we got your boy in there to give us the rip on Sunday action here. I want to ask you, I know it's not March Madness related here, but Seattle Auburn. Do we just ride the under train again in Seattle Auburn? Is that an under 146.5 I can get you in on?
No.
All right. Give us some closing thoughts here. Talk to us about the Sunday card. Any spots that jumped off the page at you that you want to highlight for the people?
Well, yeah, I just looked at these games, and I'll post all since tomorrow for all the members, of course. We had a good weekend. I'll post my action on there for all the members. Shout out to everyone in the green.
Your boy. Send them to your boy, Mikey Money. Anyways, go ahead.
Of course. You let me know. I'm on it. These are just what I was looking at going through. Arizona's team total over. None of these I bet yet, but UCLA, of course, on to fade them. That game was a little bit wild. Everything went. I want to look at them tomorrow as dogs. I already have. Iowa, team total under. It's already a look. That offense just struggles. And I think they'll struggle again. And I think Miami could be live. I looked at them in Kansas game under 144.5, that area. And I think Kansas could maybe hang around. Just these are just my early look, when I was going through them last night. So that work with those starts today as we watched all these games, kind of live betting, just to get everything in. But that is it. Wine time. What up, my dude? Great to see you. Drew, he wants Mikey. You got to hit him. Mikey, Ian, give me early hockey.
That's why I brought up
I'll have him get it. Yeah, here, let me hit up everyone else in here. Randall, Chalktown, Gunn, what's going on? Everyone in here. Mr. Vincent, shout out to everyone and all the members. We appreciate you. Shout out. And I'll drop that for the members tomorrow. Anything else, I'll see you Monday. And, of course, always members, have any questions, just shoot me a message. That's it.
Closing thoughts, CMAC here, 4 p.m. Eastern time. That'll be, 1 p.m. out there in Las Vegas. The Buffalo Sabres, the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you going Sabres? Are you going Kings?
I would take the Sabres, too. And you want to go roll against this year? Hey?
No.
Kings at home, too? Even though they have been playing better hockey,
I did say I think that the signs that they're showing us for the LA Kings are they're a bye team here. They're trying to push for the postseason. Yeah. But no, I think you're actually hearing the consecutive road streak there that Babano was talking about. No, I'm not fucking fading the Sabres. No way, man. I'll tell you what. Not only am I not fading the Sabres, I'm taking Tage Thompson to get a goal. I'm taking Doan to get a goal out there. I'm looking for some points. I'm looking for some scores in this game here today at 4 p.m. CMAC. So good job, my friend. Thank you for
being here.
This will be the last one, right? We're down to just a couple of games going forward, but I hope you guys enjoyed the betting the board show here Saturday with the joint stream between Sports Money Network and the Hitting the Books channel. These boys do a tremendous job. I was honored to get a chance to share the screen with you fellas here. So thank you, CMAC, for your time, your effort, your hard work, and your friendship, my buddy. Appreciate you, man. I hope to see you here. Going to go live in about 45 minutes for the UFC. Maybe we'll see you.
I'll probably be there. So I might be going out tomorrow. So I'm good with these games. Yeah. I'll be seeing you. You always cry about it. I actually might see you. All right.
Much appreciation. Thank you guys all for being here. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Leave us a comment. Put both shows here. Comments help.
Yeah, tell us what you're on.
Whatever, yeah. Let us know what you're betting, how you're going to the betting window. Tell us what you like about the show. Tell us what you like about the breakdowns. But tell us something on both channels. We appreciate you guys. Have a great day on behalf of